But I believe that by overwhelming majority, you and I, in the long run, and if it be necessary, you and I will act together to protect, to defend, by every means at our command.
So this is an iconic flag connected to Genoa, England and St George. And if you remember, I briefly talked about this, the flag, and how it's the realm of L. Evans' flag, the flag of the corporation, the crown. Now look at 2 ones together, or 11 doorway, the post. Let's just mix them, and what happens when you put them together in a certain order? Oh wow, it looks like a certain flag. It looks like also a cross, a crucifix. It's always been there, guys, and it's always been in our face. As you know, this flag has intrigued me for ages because obviously it's the crest of Genoa, where Janus is so intertwined. Really is crazy. You have Agnus Dei, obviously the Lamb of God, an emblem of Christ. You have the Bank of St George in Genoa, the first private state bank. You have the City of London, and you have the images of Jesus going to hell carrying that flag. And that flag is the corporation flag. It is the realm of L. Evans' flag. It is the 11 crossed into a red cross, as I've just shown you. So it just blows my mind, and again I have to state for people out there who might be getting a bit snowflakey, it's just my opinion. Was bugging me, so I dug a little deeper, and this video will be basically me theorising, but it's something profound that I don't know where it will end or lead me to. It's crazy, guys. And if I pull this off, you'll not look at this flag the same way ever again. It's that profound. So look at the flag as an intent, a purpose, advertising what the crown did. So if you don't like theorising and opinions, please turn off now because you're going to get so triggered. So let's go back a while, as I started this journey a long time ago without really knowing I did. Right, my flockers, originally I did this in an old video. It was called the Genoa Conundrum. You can check it out, and obviously I've done a bit more and delved into it, but this is a journey of this video without me even knowing it. Do you know what I mean? When you research something, you don't see the the pattern or the puzzle just yet, you know what I mean? You were just on the journey, and it was only come recently when I was doing the other videos that it made me think. So I anagrammed St George because obviously St George connects Genoa. That's where I originally found Janus. It connects England, and it connects the corporation and the crown with everything. So obviously St George's flag. And I thought, I'm going to anagram that, and I came to ego erst. Now at the time when I originally did it, like I said, you can check the video out, I couldn't find out for ego. So I was thinking, could it just mean ego? And ego in Latin means I or we. That's why I always talk about we have an ego, we or I have an ego. So erst was the first or before all. So that sounded ominous for me, because basically it reminded me of that verse in the Bible, I am. And obviously Janus is also known as the Alpha and the Omega, and beginning and the end, because obviously the way he looks. So could this mean ego erst, mean I am the first, which funnily enough in the gematria added to 11, 128 in fact added to 11. So that was original in the in the original video, and when I was doing this new one, I looked into it and I thought, wow, that was intriguing, because I was talking about St George then being I am the first. So anyway, I have to look at things again just in case I've missed anything. So I've gone back in to look at ego, and I am glad I have. So ego means echo, or let me pronounce this, reverberation. Now reverberation means prolongation of a sound, resonance, or a continuing effect. That to me is why, because the old etymology was I am the first. Now how many times have you watched my videos, guys? And if you're new, or please check the other videos out. I talk about how Janus was there at the beginning. He's also known as the gatekeeper. He's known as a janitor. He holds the keys, the frequency keys. It's all about sound, energy and vibration. And you telling me the anagram of St George talks about I or we am the first, and now updated talks about reverberation or sound on frequency, and earth means the first before all. So it's talking about him being the first frequency, the first sound. Sounds a bit like, in Genesis, how we were created using the word, which I've talked about so many times. And the word, if you check out my old videos, I say is a frequency, but it also means water. Water, frequency, hitting water is cymatics, creates a pattern. You see, and the flag could be a anagram of that, not an anagram, like a cymatics of that. Just gets you thinking, doesn't it? And where I'm going to go with the newer anagram actually blew me away, and it ties into this. So at the minute we're talking about the first frequency, the first resonance, the first sound, and the continuance of. Come on, guys, that is wow. Personally, you know what I mean? So let's have a look again at this new one. So what I did, thought, I want to change this slightly, and I'm glad I did. I don't know why I did it, but I did. So we put Saint instead of ST. I'm putting the full name Saint. So let's put St George in, right? And why is that coming like that? There we go. So I anagrammed it. The top one, segregation. See, actually in the words, segregation too. So the top one, segregation. An anagram of St George is segregation. Wow, 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 wow. Just wow, guys. Then let's have a look what segregate means. And well, obviously it is common sense, but we'll click it on. I'll actually make it bigger for you guys so you can actually see on the screen. They say it's from 1540s. Again, etymology always seems to start roughly the time of the Great Vow to L shift. That little video that I did that most of the community ignore, but you flockers have my back and can see the significance of it. To separate someone or something. So I've already told you it's a frequency, and they talk about a weapon or a device, which there was a device called, remember, from the Holy Roman Empire in that Vow to Elshif video, talks about them using a device. Did they use a device, a sound device, to separate? Look at it. Etymology: separate someone or something. From a generally body or class of things. From Latin segregus or segregatus, past participle of segreger, set apart, lay aside, or isolate and divide. Literally separate from the flock. These words just get me tingling. And it's from set apart, Greg, ablative of Grex, herd, flock. We're all known as a sheep, aren't we not? So they're separating us. So this is where this video goes. There's so many things that it can be. I'll briefly mention what I thought it was at the beginning, was the separation of Janus, his heads. Remember, he started off with 4 heads, and he went to 3, and he went to 2. Was this a separation of that? Because obviously I'm going to show you something in a minute, which I'll talk about then. But guys, I'm just excited. Originally, often with reference to the religious notion of separating the flock of the godly from the sinners. Look at that term. That's why I told you to look at the flag, not just as a flag or a banner, but as an intent, a purpose, a practice of what they did. They separated us, or did they separate Janus, or something else I was looking at? Did they separate the bloodlines? And these are the things I want to get into. I'm not going to go in great detail because you guys don't like 3-hour videos anymore, and it's hard work for me, to be honest, because I don't have that much time. But as you can see, sinners, lazy scientifically in reference to classifications in model social context, to force or enforce racial separation and inclusion. Just wow. And you can see where this journey begins and why I'm looking at this. St George, not only in one term, which means it could be I or we are the first, it also could be the sound, the first frequency, the first resonance before all. And if you look into the long word of it, of St George in SAINT, talks about segregation. Segregation. What are they trying to segregate? Whom are they trying to segregate? So these things I just want to briefly look at in this video. Wow, guys. Hopefully you're excited as me. So what you're seeing here, guys, is an excerpt from a book by Ernst Cialdini. Now, he was German musician and scientist, and is known as the father of acoustics. This is from his book Theory of Sound, and the figures were drawn by Murray D. Waller. Now, in his experiments, he used a violin bow, and he, in the book, said these are archetypal geometric patterns typical of a certain kind of person or thing. And what do you see? Have a look. What stands out? There's a few images that could be what I'm talking about. The English flag, the St George flag, the Genoa flag. But what just stood out to me is that you could have picked any number or reference or wave or whatever scale that you're using. Just look at this, where the first English flag pattern comes out, and I'll just show you now. Can you not see it? 2 1s. That can't be a coincidence. Surely they're trying to show us something. Or is it one of those rare occurrences of coincidence? But I just laughed to myself and saying, oh look, there's the English flag in Cymatics pattern, and it's come out as 1 1. Nah, there's got to be something to this. Surely there has. So let's look at St George. You know, that thing in gematria that adds up to 11, which is pure coincidence. Everything adds up to 11. So St George, they say, was born in Cappadocia, a historical region in central Anatolia, Turkey. Now this is famous images of that region, so this is where they say St George was born. Now it's full of caves and underground cities. A beautiful area, full of intrigue. A lot of people have covered it. So that's where they say he was from. Now he's thought to have died in Lydda, which is in modern day Israel, in the Roman province of Palestine in 303 AD 33. It is believed that his tomb was in Lod, that's the old name for Lydia. So it's intriguing. Like Lod, that doesn't add up to 11 in gematria. Just a pure coincidence. Now George was executed by decapitation on the 23rd of April 303. Now do you see the 11? 2 add 3 add 3 add 3 equals, you got it, 11. Why the 11? Why? It just intrigues me, this. And as you can see, we've got the Queen and all the regalia that they were. Well, what you're seeing here is what's known as the Noble Order of the Garter. Now King Edward III of England adopted St George as the patron saint of the Noble Order of the Garter, including St George becoming the patron saint of England. Now it is the most senior order of knighthood in the British honours system, outranked in precedence only by the Victoria Cross and the George Cross. Now these are some people who've been awarded it. Now you're supposed to be just able to get it if you're born in Britain, but they give it to people outside, but they can't actually, you know, have a ceremony. So you can see some of the people it's been: Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, even Tony Blair. So you can see people who have been awarded the order, the knighthood. Now it's so ironic that St George is seen as a swashbuckling knight who slayed the dragon, when in fact he wasn't even a knight. So that's the ironic thing, that all these images that we see throughout history of him being on a horse, slaying the dragon, mostly in a knight armour, he wasn't even a knight. Now it was only from the 11th century the chivalric knight on a warrior on horseback image started. It is more likely that he was a Roman, he was an officer in the Roman army. So again, another 11. These 11s keep cropping up, and again it's just showing you that he wasn't a knight. What is even more ironic is one pope even demoted St George, saying he didn't even exist. So he's just like backing up what I'm saying in this video, and it's just a little article. You can find many on it. I'll just read the bottom out. It said, talks about the Royal Society of Medicine to talk about how gleefully that the Pope struck St George off the official roll of saints on the grounds that no such person ever existed. And as you can see from this video so far, it's my opinion that St George, the flag that in St George, is the corporation, it's the crown, it's the realm of 11, who are using St George as like a false flag or an operation. Do you understand me? Like Operation Paperclip, Operation Looking Glass, and so on and so on. It's the name of the corporation. It's a name of an agenda, an intent, a purpose. Where you see that flag, that is what they were trying to do. They were trying to segregate with frequency or will or money, whatever you want to look at it. And this is just how I want to go with this video. Yes, it's a bit of a mind blower and could be far-fetched, but I just believe I'm onto something. But it's down to a personal opinion. So far you saw me use an anagram for St George in two ways. One to mean ego erst, the first before all or I or we, and then the other way was reverberation, prolongation of sound, resonance, a continuing effect, like the using a weapon on us on earth. So then you saw St George by S-A-I-N-T, meaning segregation, like they split or tore the earth up. So I thought, let me do a quick spell etymology of the word George. What could I find? So the name George is derived from the Greek root, GE, which means earth, like the words geology and geography. So that is wow. And RGE means ergon, from ergon means work, labour, task, work or deed of war or battle. Come on guys, So George could could battle for the earth. Does that not sound ominous? Does that not sound like some event happened, like I'm trying to get at with this St George tied to Genoa and Geneva and genocide? It's just blown me away. And now George could mean battle for the earth, just like I've been saying. So how can I find these things if there's some truth to it? It could be just an opinion and my perspective, but it's blew me away. A battle for the earth couldn't be what mean George comes from. Wow, that just it's just wow. So a big part of St George is the dragon. Now the dragon hasn't always been a part of the story, but have a guess what century the tale of St George slaying the dragon and saving the princess came out. Have a guess and you'll know it. You'll be screaming it now. The answer is the 11th century. Again, the symbol of the corporation. Crazy. But what makes me go is the fact at the time England were using the following flag as one of their own. Now have a guess what it was. This was used by England. Yes, the white dragon. So are we talking about the symbolism of St George slaying the dragon, of the corporation slaying England? Here's another flag that they had and were using at the time. Does that not look familiar, guys? It's basically the opposite of what they're using now. But yes, it reminds you of the Swiss flag. And here's an image showing you using that flag, and as you can see, it's right on the flag, red with a white cross. It was only when they went to the Holy Land, the Crusades, did they come back and adopted what we know today as the English flag. Yep, they went through Genoa, which is their flag, and the Templars. So something happened when the king went there, came back from the Crusades and changed the flag to the Genoa flag. Here's a Genoa flag with Janus on top, because Genoa is named after Janus. You can't get any more connections just spelled straight out for you guys. What you're seeing on screen is the Battle of Agincourt. It's famous in England's history. Now the reason I'm showing you this because it's tied to St George, and you'll find out why. It just blew me away. So you can see two forces, opposing forces, battling. Now these are the banners that all sides, because the battle was between England and France according to history, these are the banners that some of them were using, or most of them were using. But here's the thing. It's said by the king himself that St George appeared at the Battle of Agincourt of 1415. Look at that date, 1415. It's an 11. One had 4, had 1, had 5. Another 11. That's the flag of 11. Now to me, I was thinking, or was it the crown, the corporation, seizing power and influence using a secret weapon known as the device, which I've talked about in a few videos. Look at the battle, guys. What do you see? And I'll just go quiet for a few seconds. It stands out because you saw it so far. Right, this is an image used for Battle of Agincourt. If you do a search, the Battle of Agincourt, this is one of them that'll appear, on the images first. Where's France? All I'm seeing is the flag of England, which I've showed you at the time was either a white dragon or red with a white cross, and St George's flag on the opposing side. This to me is England versus St George. So as I was saying, am I talking about St George in essence of a corporation and an entity, Janus, fighting for control over England at Agincourt? Just look at it, it screams. Where is the French colours? Now if you search other results for Battle of Agincourt, you'll see French colours on the opposing forces. Why is this painting, this image depicting red with a white cross versus white with a red cross? That is England versus St George. So they talk about, yes, St George appeared at the Battle of Agincourt. Yes, as a corporation. So another one that shares the same flag is the Knight Templars. It's not like it's 11 in gematria either. That's just pure coincidence, that, guys. So the Knight Templars, or other than what they're known as is the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon. Now they were set up by this guy Hugh de Payens, if I can pronounce that correctly. Now he co-founded the Knight Templars and was the first Grand Master of the Knight Templars, so a significant person in his story. Now Hugh de Payens did this with 8 relatives and acquaintances, so that's how the Knight Templar was set up. Now the date this happened is 1118, which as you can see is another 11. Hugh de Payens died apparently in Palestine in 1136. The circumstances and the date of his death are not recorded in any chronicle. They can't, be verified. That date of 1136 is again another 11. 1 add 1 add 3 add 6 equals 11. One earlier chronicle, Simon de Bertin, implies that the Knights Templar originated earlier, before the death of Godfrey of Bouillon in 1100. Again, another 11. So you can just see how these keep popping up. Now, is it a coincidence that the date the Knights Templar got arrested was 1307, which, as you can see, is another 11? When does this not class as a coincidence, guys? So guys, if you're liking this video, please check out my old video, the Genoa Conundrum, where I go into depth more on Genoa itself. It's well worth watching if you haven't already. Right, back to this. So the Templars were connected to Genoa's Metropolitan Cathedral of St Lawrence, and it's pictured on screen above. Its consecrated date 1118. Again, another 11. It was consecrated on that date. So the church was consecrated the same year as the Knights Templars' creation in 1118. That cannot be a coincidence, guys. And as we know, Genoa is named after Janus, and it was the headquarters for the Knights Templars and the Knight Hospitallers, because that was the easiest way and the gateway to the Holy Land. Now, after the First Crusades, the Templars brought the remains of St John the Baptist to Genoa, hence he became the patron saint of Genoa with St Lawrence and St George, and the rest of the saints are preserved at the chapel in the left nave. So that's huge, guys. It's showing you the connections again. The world's first bank, as I've said, and the forefather or the forerunner to the Bank of England was none other than the Bank of St George in Genoa. The bank had to get permission from the 4 members of the Council of the Ancients. That sounds ominous. Right, so a little bit left field. On the screen you can see that image. Balenciaga was a fashion brand, and it got broken down as the following. You can see it. Baal is king. I've been showing you who Baal is for the last 3-4 years. It's Janus. It's another name for Janus. But it went viral, and everyone in the community was posting this and the video, and you're like, yeah, so this is accepted as proof that, the shenanigans of Balenciaga is Baal is king, which Baal means Lord. Now, I'm going to show you something now that I did many years ago. It's in many videos, and it's under the same principle. So what I would have loved is to be accepted, as a theory, because if people are posting that, and then I posted the following, I broke it down the same, and it revealed that Genoa, which was a part of Liguria, is none other than Tartaria. It's why I did Tartaria, the remnants of Janus, because I believe people have got it all wrong. So you can see my irony and laughter here, because one went viral and is accepted as proof of the following, and then I did this years before that and I got condemned in the community. It's just irony, isn't it? Genoa is the capital of Liguria. This is how I connected Genoa to Tartaria. Now guys, this could be a complete coincidence and it could just be a fluke, but as I just showed you, like, Genoa is part of Liguria. It's like the area. Now, this is how I originally found Janus, obviously by looking into Genoa, and I was looking at Tartaria as well at the same time. This is like a couple of years ago. It's one of the first videos, not one of the first, but you know, quite near the beginning when I started making videos. And I'm like, this is what I look into Tartaria, and I like to break the words down. So obviously if you put Tartaria, you just get Tartaria. Now what I did is I just split it up into three, like phonetically, Tartaria. You know what I mean? Tartaria, you know, like that. I'll show you now, and you can actually see on the screen. So splitting in two, there's a TA, and now I did the RTA, and the last bit is RIA. And look what I got. Now it could be a complete freak. It's asked me, did you mean Tartaria? So you can see Tartaria, and obviously that is the Latin version of Tartary. And look at the Latin, it gives me RTA, Liguria. Now I know some people say, well, you just put RIA at the end of this Tartaria, and Liguria's got RIA on it, but it's not got everything else. And you can it's just intriguing. How was I meant to find Genoa to look into that and then find Janus? Because I was just looking at Tartaria, like I say, and I split it up, as you can see on the screen, and it gave me RTA Liguria. And I'm thinking, I've never heard of Liguria. Is it a place? Is it a thing? Just what is it? So obviously I typed it into the converter, and basically that's what I got. So I'll just do it for you, even now while I'm on the screen. Liguria says me typing it. And obviously the first thing it gave me was this, Liguria. So as you can see, I'll just move it across because I made the screen bigger so you can actually see. So you can see Liguria is a crescent-shaped region in northwest Italy. Its Mediterranean coastline is known as the Italian Riviera. So as you can see, Genoa is its capital. So it's just the crescent. And obviously if you've watched my Janus videos, you'll notice Janus carries sometimes a crescent moon or stands on it. So just thought that was intriguing, and that's how I originally found Genoa, to look at Genoa all those years ago where I found Janus. I put Tartaria in, I split it up into three, and for some reason it spewed out Liguria. So this is one of the main reasons that I did this video. What you're looking at is the Janus arch, or Ionos quadrifrons, meaning four-faced, four crowns. But guys, this is right near the point of where Rome was created. Have a look what you can see through the arch, and I'm zooming in on the building for you, and I'll put it up on the screen now. Yeah, have a guess what this is called. Oh, the Church of St George in the Velabrum. You're saying to me, right at the spot where Rome was created, there is a Janus arch and a St George church. Can't get any more in your face than that, guys, can you? And that just wowed me when I remembered this. But about the arch, it has a cross vault. There's not many of these about, a cross vault. And as you can see, this is inside of the arch. And you can see it up above. I'll put it on the screen for you. The flag of the realm of 11, Janus, the crown. Just blows me away every time I see this. And this is the main point of the video. Just look, it's been there forever. But look at it at another point, and you can see it from an architectural point of view. There's the four crowns. The Crown Corporation, the four crowns of Janus's head. Because remember, in those days, he did have four heads. And this is on the oldest bridge in Rome, by the way. That you can see in the screen. Obviously, you can only see three. So back to that. You can see what I'm talking about, the flag of the corporation, the flag of the crown, the flag of the L11. And even if you did it the other way, you can get the flag of St George in it. And I need people to understand the significance and the wow of it. Just look at it. It's so in your face. And when I remember this, I went, no way, because I'm talking about the crown, the corporation, and this has four crowns, four corners, the crossroads. Yes, Janus is a god of transitions and boundaries. How is it that I didn't put this together before with St George, the close connection between them both? And I believe I've showed you that and found it now, and I'm just in awe. It's just, it makes common sense. I'm not saying it's fact or anything like that, but it just makes sense, doesn't it, that St George is what I'm trying to get in this video, is an intent, is a purpose, is the logo, the banner, showing you that this is the realm of 11, and this appears around the world in significant moments. And one of those moments are from this guy in his story, Christopher Columbus. Supposedly found the new world. Christopher Columbus wouldn't be 11 in geometry, would it? Nah. We'll ignore that. But they say Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa in 1451, which, as you get it, yep, is another 11. Now, people will say he's born in other places. I'm just telling you what they say. Genoa is also known as Genova. That's what its native name is. That's 11 in gematria. And I'm talking about the crown. The crown is 11 in gematria. So it's just all showing you the agenda. There's his house in Genoa. What can I say? So you don't have to believe it. I'm just showing you what they say. One of the biggest moments, like I said, sailing to the new world, finding the new world. Look at the ships. The date they sailed to the new world, August the 3rd, which in today's calendar, August is 8. So 8 and 3 is, you got it, 11. And like I was just saying, look at the flags. You can say Templar, St George, Genoa. They're all the same flag. That's the point, the significance of this moment in his story, whether you believe it to be fact, fiction, or whatever you want to call it. What we do know is they're using the crown, the corporation, the flag of 11 to do it in, and that is one of the biggest significant moments in history. Doesn't matter if it's fake, they're still promoting it. They're doing the spell, and that is just what's wow about it.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. Right guys, I want to thank you all for the love and the support again. People are watching the videos in big numbers, and that's only down to you guys. The love and the support I get from you, it just, there's no words for it. So you have my heart and appreciation, and it just humbles me each time. So please keep it up. Share the videos that you like, even the ones that you don't like, because there will be some, but you know what I mean. So I want to thank you to everyone who does that, and for anyone who buys me a coffee again in this hard times. You don't know how much that means to me. I really do appreciate it. So all the links to the video that I mentioned in the video, if you've not watched it, the Genoa conundrum, I'll put in the description. Buy me a coffee link is in the description also. And again guys, please like if you watch this video, just tell me you like it. And for those people that you keep thumbing down intentionally, thank you. Still have to watch it. Boom boom. So after that, what do you think? I don't know. That's the true answer. It's only the beginning. So if people are screaming, oh, you've missed this, it's only the beginning. I'm laying the foundations just to show you the significance of the flag, the crown, the corporation, whatever way you want to look at it. Just look at history where that flag has appeared. Mind blower, connecting everything together, because I've talked about it in many videos for years, and then but not really talked about them together, but not really connected it together, not really thought so far out the box. I had to make a new rabbit hole, like I said in the community post, and people are like, wow, what's he talking about? I don't think anyone's talked about this before. Says the 300 videos that someone will just find, but you know what I mean. The flag used as a banner, as an intent, a purpose. Just look at where the cross is used. Remember, the crosses always used to be called roods, and they were above openings. Rood backward is door. So you can just see the significance of this, and I'm like a little kid. I'm excited. What can I say? The end. Bye guys. No, you're not going yet. So I was getting to that point where I was adding, and it was like the old days of me doing 3-hour videos and people not remembering some of the brilliant points that I've raised. So I had to stop, and again, I'll make it into videos, but there's so much that I can talk about in regard to this. it's never ending. And I don't know how I got to it. I just remember that I made an old video on an anagram of St George, and obviously I put at the time ego erst, and it meant I am the first, which added to 11. 11, the doorway, the post. Oh, it's not 11, it's 2. You can say what you want, it's still a doorway. People will just pick and nitpick. It represents the door frames, the door posts, the pillars. And these pillars, once added, create an X, which is 10, but also 11. The realm of 11. That theory, that just won't go away, and more people are looking into it. Like Janus, both connected. And it's just intriguing. I mean, more people now are talking about Janus. Obviously, I've had loads of people sending me the Operation Janus. So thanks to people for that. Obviously I knew, but I appreciate people thinking of me and seeing it, because obviously now they're associating Janus with me, which I've been doing for many years, and I do all the other topics. But it's still nice, because as we know, the big channels who watch this take all the info, don't give me a heads up or a shout out. What can I say? But hey, it's all in good fun. At least people are researching the topic now that I've been well known for, and been not promoting, but trying to show people there's an alternative theory to his story. It's actually his, because it contains a door, and people just look at it one way and Google it, and oh, that's nothing. It's insignificant. Everything's insignificant until you look at it, because you don't see the value in it. And that's why I always try and tell people, just take it as information, use it, value it, because this information can lead you down many different types of paths, and it always finds a way of coming together somewhere down the line. And this is what this video is doing. So you're talking about an anagram of St George, meaning I am the first. Just wow. And remember, I took a G off because I couldn't find anything at the time. Ego obviously is ego, I, we, and earth meant the first before all. So that gets you thinking about creation and different things. But then for some reason, what was it? That was what made me do it. You know, the one I showed you near the end about the Arch of Janus. And I'm going to go into loads of other things in other videos. This is just, like I said, the startup, and it talks about how it had a cross vault. That got me thinking, because cross vault, obviously I've showed you what the cross is, tied to Janus, and it's Janus's arch, the 4 crowns, the 4 heads. And then I'm like, damn, the cross. And then as soon as you think of the red cross, you think of red cross, obviously crucifixion. And you're like, damn, who's got a red cross? And I've already showed you the connections between St George and Janus. There's one of them, like, Uranus was originally called St George, and it got changed. So you can just see the significance, and Uranus is Janus. So all these things are there for us to take on board. And I just get excited, because when I show you and lay it out, for me, obviously, when I lay it out, I'm trying to show you a story, and I do try to remain objective and show you, you know, go and have a look for yourself, go and see this. Why is all these coincidences? And people say, oh, it's just a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. They're using spells casting and the number 11 to show you where the door starts, you know, the path starts. They're leading you, they're showing you the emblem, the St George. It's the banner. So when it has that, it's got the little fingerprints on it. And this is why I post all the stuff about 11 and Janus, because it's his number. Because it means something to them. And when we know what it means to them, we can investigate it and see it. Because there's lots of things I've showed that, you know, that's blew people's minds and created a wow. So I looked at it again, and this time I got ego, which was echo and reverberation. And that's the reason that got me was because it was talking prolongation of sound, resonance, a continuing effect. I'm like, Janus is the god of frequency keys. It's got a keys. The frequencies, everything in this realm is frequency, vibration and energy. He is a janitor. So he controls, everything goes through him. Everything goes through the door. You can call it a central point with the four crowns coming off. And that is the important, that's what I see. And I'm like, no way, nah. Tell me that ain't, wow. Because then you are talking about Janus, which is named after Janus. And most of these Janus 1-1 talk about the word, the frequency. Then you see into, obviously, Ernest Caldini, that musician and scientist known as the father of acoustics. Why did he put that image on 1-1 when he had other spaces? Because they're trying to show you something. Whether it's on purpose, intentionally or subliminally. Sometimes we show our hand without even, it's like a tell. Wow. And that got me thinking, what could this flag represent? What could it be? And this is, like I said, the start of the journey. I could have been 3-4 hour video. And even me forget stuff I've said 2 minutes ago. So you guys are not going to do it. Some people do watch it back a few times and notepad and that. So and thank people for that, because they remind me in the comments of other videos. So we're talking about sound, the first creation. And people talk about, which I've not included in this video, that I have done many videos on, about the SWAT sticker. Obviously that's got 4. And I've talked about how that was a frequency. And people always want to tell you what they're accepted. I don't want to look at what is accepted. It's not I'm denying it. I'll take on board its information and we need it, because that's our base point. That's where we start from. But we need to look at things so differently, because when people did this originally, we all didn't think alike. We all had, there's me, you, in ancient times doing the same thing. So when we're basing our history and people say, well, it's a lie, you can't rely on it. Well, don't you use it for your benefit? Because that's what we see, don't we, in the community? Hence that video that I was showing you about, that Balenciaga. I can't pronounce it because I often remember it, but you know what I mean. It went viral. Bale is king. It's Janus. I've been telling that for years. So you can't use that as evidence for that. Then when I do the same breakdown, show you that Liguria, which was basically the branch, the crescent moon, where Genoa is a capital, is Tartaria. You can't, can you? So, and that's what people do. They'll rip into your stuff. Oh, you can't use that. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Well, what is it? Oh, but it's this. What have you got you for? Oh, so yours is not a lie, but mine is a lie. See the point? See the irony of history? History is just a book. So many pages, so many volumes. Different authors writing the same topic will write it differently. So use it as information. Use them as base points. Use them as anchors. So I'm showing you that Janus is a god of frequencies. Showed you he's been here at creation. And St George is tied to sound. And I am the first. The flag of 11, the 4. There's other people that's talking about 4s in videos and content. Many years ago, one of the first videos I ever did was talking about the 4 river valley civilizations before this Tartaria took off. Again, which people need to look at, because obviously when everything comes out of Russia, it's not, and I'm not anything against Russia, I'm just saying there's a lot of, the AI images that are fake, and the fake art stuff coming out, and people are actually believing it and researching it, which is cool if you know what we're looking at, because we get easily fooled. But originally there was 4 civilizations, like the crowning civilizations. They were the Sumerians, they were the Egyptians, and you can say these are all fake and adapted. Again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm just telling you from their standpoint of view. The Hindu River Valley civilization and the Yellow River, which is in China. The 4 crowns. The 4 that got me interested in history. and 2 of them have, negative blood, RH negative blood, and 2 have what's classed as normal ABO. And that's what got me thinking about blood. They're talking about the separation of the bloodline, and these are what other things I'm going to look at in future videos in regard to this, because what they're talking about is separation of the bloodlines, separation of Janus's head, because obviously he started off with 4, it's gone down to 3, it's gone down to 2. Is it a timer? Is it a countdown? What is this segregation of St George? And that just blew me away. Segregation from his full name. St George means segregation. Are they trying to break people's spirits? Are they going to trying to break us as humanity, keep us apart? Because it's so crazy when you look at it. I mean, obviously, in regard to England, Albion, it's his own name, or Alba, which means white land or white people. I think it means white land, if I remember. So you can see, and that's what I was talking about. Why is this flag so significant? Why did England adopt it when it's not their own? They got it from Genoa, where there's Templars and everything is intertwined. So obviously they've gone on the Crusades. Oh, I like that flag. I'm napping now. Because at the time they had, there's many different flags that they had, but the main one they had was red with a white cross. They also had the white dragon. I think that was more in line with a battle flag for the people. A white dragon. So it's significant. Is this St George talking about them separating the dragons? Could the people be the dragons? Because people talk about dragon bloodlines and whatnot, but you see the symbolism in it. St George is slaying the dragon. Well, we had a flag of the dragon. Wales still have a flag of a dragon. Tell me there's not something in that. There just has to be. And these are the things, like I said, I'm going to go and look at in future videos, because it's so intriguing. And there's so many possibilities. Bloodlines, heads of Janus, civilizations being broken up. It's just, the end is, it's just endless, the possibilities. And obviously I talked about Ernst Caldini, and he talks about how he used a violin bow to get the archetypal geometric patterns. Arch. Who's the god of arches? What does arch mean? In Greek, arche means beginning. So these sounds, were they at the beginning? And that's another thing that we have to look into. There's loads of things that I can connect to this. And I just love that journey. I just love being excited about something, showing you guys something different. I mean, what do we always say? It's like I was joking with friends in other streams saying, let's put Tartaria in the title and it'll get bigger. And it was just tongue in cheek. And listen, I'm not discrediting it. People who Tartaria is a thing, but it's not what people think, and that's just my opinion. Do you know what I mean? And it's like in this world, we're not allowed to have a different opinion. I just don't like agreeing on things. Well, that's that. I never take anyone's word for it, because we all see things differently. I see it as not what people believe. Other people will say yes. Some people say it's a psyop. Well, I'm showing you. If the Tartaria came from Genoa, there's your psyop, guys. And I'm showing you the significance of Genoa or Genova in history. And people say, well, Venice were bigger. That's my point. They're hidden in plain sight. Genoa had colonies in, is it Kaffa in the Ukraine, or in that region, the Crimea, where history says the plague came from. And I included that in my old video on the Genoa conundrum. So there's another big part of history. The plague came through the gates of Genoa. It's known as the gates for Europe. And the plague spread through Europe from Genoese boat. And one of the first people to ever use biological weapons like a corpse, whether it works or not, it's the idea that I'm showing people. The first person to throw dead bodies with plagues over castle walls was a guy called Janus. Oh, just a coincidence. This flag, this crown, this corporation, this organisation It's a flag of 11. City London, separate entity. Again, they have the sword on the flag. It said that would decapitate St Paul, but didn't St George not get decapitated? Could that not be in reference to him? Did he actually exist? One pope said he didn't. He went from the norm. So these things I just want to show in videos that it's up to you to take on board and then use it as your starting point. No, Paul, you were wrong there. I'm wrong on a lot of things because we all see things differently. Remember, truth and fact are not what people believe. I've showed you that so many times, and this is what we have to get away from. Do you know what I mean? The truth is personal. That's why someone at home now will be wanting to troll because they feel triggered when I say certain things because it's a spell. The good people are the ones that sit back and go, why am I getting triggered? Why does this get to me so much? And think on it. That's the point. It's a beautiful thing. And even his name, George, means battle for the earth. G-O-G, meaning earth, and R-G-E, meaning battle, or, itch. Not itch. I'm just itching. But you can see my point. Wow. So all these things, anagrams his name means. Then his name, George, means battle for the earth. Was there a battle for the earth between the crown and the dragon bloodlines, or just normal generic people's bloodlines? Because there's 4 blood groups. Oh, really? Someone's screaming outside. Hello and welcome. So you can see me mean, and obviously segregation means to separate, to split up. We're talking about the kingdoms. And that is my point. Is this not getting you excited? Because this is just the first of many. My head is actually exploding with wows on where does it go from here. But just look at it. And then when you look at all these connections in 11s, yes, surely there's such thing as a coincidence, maybe. But when you go in, bang, 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 and you're following a pattern, and all this pattern is matching and connecting, it's not a coincidence. The Battle of Agincourt, I showed you one of the images that a lot of these sites use. Where's the English flag? Where's the French flag? Tell me. Because the image I showed you was the English flag, red with white cross, and St George fire on each other. The king at the time, I can't remember if it was Richard Lyon or someone else, or Edward, I can't remember now. Put the spot. Talks about how the king, how St George appeared at the battle. And you're thinking, is it an effigy, is it a ghost? Did it give them inspiration to win at the Battle of Agincourt? Or is he talking about St George's army, the Crown Corporation, in red and white? Who knows? Oh, if only added to 11. Wait, it does. And this is why irony, I do it all the time, because people give me the stick I get for these videos on 11, and people just can't see it, and that's cool, because this is just how I look at things. Does not mean it's how you look at it, but more and more people are just taking on board how I see things and can see there is a pattern, and sometimes it's undeniable that the flag of St. L11 is the cross. Only thing then you think about is what are they trying to separate, and that's for future videos. There is also a lot in the press in a minute about white noise, white flag with a red cross. If only there was a thing called red noise. Wait, there is. These are things I'm going to look at in the future. And obviously red noise and white noise are supposedly able to calm or subdue people. Is there a significance of using different types of sound in cymatics, these frequencies? But has everyone ever used different types of sound at frequencies? I know they just, put sound through a speaker or a microphone, but what actual noises, using like white noise through it to do something, would that make a different pattern? Red noise, even the fabled brown noise, brown noise, which makes people go boop. These are things, and we know that the power of frequency and sound on people, it can get to you, it can do a lot of damage. Are we talking voice of skull technology? Isn't the four parts of the brain, so these things can correlate to anything in regard to the four. What does the actual four crowns represent? I talked about how for that first bang they needed the go ahead from the four members of the Council of the Ancients. Who are these? Are they board members of the corporation in ancient times of St George? Why is St George tied to Janus all the time? In Rome's history, whether you can believe it or not, again, like anything, I have to say this because people get triggered instead of using your common sense. But where Rome was supposed to be created from one story, Romulus and Remus, is bang right next to, or if not on the spot, of the Janus Arch. And you see St George through the arch. It's right next to it. So you talk like mathematical percentages of how could that be already showing you something. And that's the point of these videos. I'm just so excited. And I could not do it without your people's support. Do you know what I mean? I'm making them slower, but I believe my videos have got better because I'm spending a little bit more time on it. But when you do a topic, a video, a big one, you just want to get it out. No, ladies, not that. Eyes up, eyes up. So, you know what I mean? You just want to get your theory out and see where the cards lie. But I knew I was onto something all those years ago. What Janus, Genoa, St George, because they're all intertwined. Just look at the cathedral. Why has all these places that have a significant part in history got that flag? Why do we not celebrate St George's Day in this country if it was so revered? Because I believe it's not officially recognised as the flag because it is the realm of 11. It's a corporation. The City of London fly it, but I know anyone can fly it really, but it's not officially recognised. It's just accepted as a flag of England. Because what do you think? Oh, he was born in Turkey. He's from St George, and then you see people say he was born in Lydda, which is Lod. Where they even actually say where he died is where he was born. But the accepted is Cappadocia, which all those beautiful caves and 30 towers or whatever you want to call them. And that's the connection. But Genoa had colonies in Turkey too. The main one was in Galata. So you're talking about this little town, insignificant, having colonies in Ukraine, Georgia. What flag did Georgia use? Oh yeah, the same flag. Never mind. So, and there's so many had it, and they were a constant battle with Venice. Is that a ploy? Are we talking about a lot of corporations? But this St George and Janus and the number 11 seems to go back. AI, is it the flag of the artificial intelligence? Because obviously Janus' oldest name is IA. You then have the connection with the Ukraine and their flag looking at each other. Is that the two faces? Because obviously he had 4 and it went down to 2. So is this the segregation? Is this a split up of the crown? The video is endless and can go in so many possibilities, but like I said, this is just the beginning, and hopefully guys you're excited and you can see the bloody significance of this, because when we look at something we always see an iconic flag, but once if it's a banner, it's an intent, it's what they did. Is it talking about creation, splitting up, frequency, cymatics, battle for the earth? Is the serpent, is the dragon a leviathan? Because isn't that one of the first species created according to people and Bible? And you can just see I'm just dumbfounded because I'm so excited. I've got so much going through my head. It is unbelievable. But when you do a video, what do I call it? So that's why I just call it the Segregation of St George, because that was a big significant thing. His name, an anagram for that, straight to words, was segregation. And we know what segregation means. Obviously, normal people will think of the segregation of black people in America. But it's happened everywhere. It's happened all around the world, and it's not just about coloured people or black. It's white. It's so on. It's, you know, it happened to all of us. Is it like a caste system and the rich, the corporation again? You know, so there's so many things you can look at it. But you have, like we're saying about the four river valley civilizations, all have gods with multiple heads. In Sumeria, it is Ia or Ea. So you've also even got eyes and mud. There's loads of unnamed ones that I've showed you in other videos of Sumerian gods with 4 heads, 3 heads. Egypt, I showed you Khnum, and there's many others I've showed you in past videos. The 4 river Hindu river have multiple head gods as well. Obviously you have Shiva nowadays, but the images there. And then China, the same. So this gets you thinking. And that's all I ever want and ask for in the videos is, you know, I try to make it objective. I'm not saying it's this. I'm just showing you the information I found. And I'm trying to learn and research on the fly, doing these videos and showing you the significance of it. Because this is a significant video. I don't, you know, all the naysayers will not, but I'm showing you that St George in various ways means the first, before all, the first frequency, the sound, battle of the earth. It's a spell. So the hiding spells are within spells. Frequencies, keys, cymatics, the pattern of the cross. You know, that is a beautiful video, and I'm starting to repeat myself now, so I want to go, guys, but this is just the journey of it. This is just the start of the journey, because there's so many ways I'm going to look at this, because there's so much I can look at it. My head's exploding. So please, guys, I really do appreciate you sharing the channel. YouTube, I've been YouTube beyond belief. Like I said, I've just got to another milestone of 27,000 subscribers. I've been between 26 and 27 for 6 to 8 months, and they're just not showing the true, the true scale of your guys' support, because you just look at it in the views, guys. Just look at the views. Over 40k for 3 videos. I'm like, the support and love you guys show me, it's just humbling. It does get me emotional. I'm glad you guys have me back. But I want to show and promote that it's okay to think differently. I'm not promoting nothing. I'm not a prophet. I'm not an angel. There's always, all these big channels seem to have a gimmick to sell it to you. Sell that information. The sake oilsman. Don't. I'm like you. I just love history, the different versions of history, looking at things differently, and that's what I want to promote. Don't accept what I say. Don't accept what they say. We are just like you guys, and we're nothing without you guys. No one would watch, and I would just be talking to myself. So that shows you the significance and the power of you guys behind me. That's why they are YouTubing me. That's why they're holding back all the subscribers. But again, and that's why I've played it, and I thought, I'm just going to stick to myself, and obviously the 11 channel, and that's it. That's why I've cut ties. It's not disrespect to anyone. I'm done fighting. I'll fight my own way. I'll fight doing what I do best, and that's create content to show you guys. And if people want to steal the info and use it as their own, that's them. But I know, and guys know, because you guys, again, are just the heart of the channel. You are the flockers. Don't mess with the flockers. We stick together, and people will call sheep, oh, we're the sheep, we're the black sheep. We fucking rock, and we make a significant in this community, the community, because you guys are just the best. So to round it up, What do we make of it? I don't know, Paul. Segregation, the first sound, first frequency. What is this image, this iconic image, this flag? You're talking about major organisations, Knight Templars, England, Genoa, how St George, how did these all connect? And I've showed you in videos. Geneva, look at Geneva, near enough same flag as the old England. Banking systems, everything. Finding the new world, and people will say, oh, well, you know, people know my beliefs. I believe we left there and we went back. But in history, to the people who found this, according to them, well, we know it's wrong, but they still go by it. It was Paul Gabot. He was from Genoa. And Christopher Columbus, and people say, well, he's from here. I know that's it, but I'm just showing you what they say. I showed you his house, I showed you who he was born, and they all had to 11. Told you. And the period this seems to have been all implemented was in, yep, you got it, from the 11th century. The Great Vow to L shift. Keep going back to this, and I'll keep to be proven right. The most significant piece of history, when they did all these spells, the significant changes to our history, all tied to Janus. Calendar changes. Who's in charge of the calendar? Oh yeah, Janus. Ignore that. Oh, Iron J on maps and coins. Ionos, Janus. Ignore that. Again, ignore it because it's Janus. But people are starting to see it. And how and why? Because of me, and more importantly, you guys at home. Or at work. Or on the toilet. Because some people will. But you see the significance. So in history, you're talking Genoa is connected to the discovery of the New World. The plague. Come on. You see, guys. The battle for the earth. That's where I'm going to leave it. The battle for the earth. Where will the world from here? Who knows? But just enjoy the ride, guys. So, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment, see what you guys think of this first in many videos. And if you can stretch your generosity to any more, the link for Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. Helps you out. It helps with me even getting on. And the link to the old video, conundrum, where I show you not just that, but other significant things about the country. But that is where I found Janus, because that cathedral I showed you, which was consecrated on the same day as the Templars, oh, coincidence, has a plaque saying Janus is the founder. Janus, the first king of Latium, first king of Italy, and the first pope. What did he call America in the south? Latin America. Oh, wait. Latins. There we go, guys. And all the connections that I've shown you in many, many videos. So, guys, see you in the premiere. Hopefully I'm not confused everyone with this. And just enjoy the ride, guys. Take care. See you soon. And always wear a smile. Bye, guys.